Siman Rishmem Vav Dine Hashalav Askar Ganyudi B'Shabbos V'Hesifim and Mutter Lahashil U'Lahaskir Kelov Le'Inu Yehudi. It is permitted to lend out or rent out utensils to Goy. Ve'afal Pishu Osav Melach B'Shabbos, meaning I'm making this rental during the week, even though the guy is going to do work with them on Shabbos. We have no mitzvah to make sure that our vessels are resting from doing malacha. It's only a Jew himself who's not allowed to do malacha, or it was say about animals or slaves, but not vessels. Some say, however, that if they're vessels that are used directly for malacha, you go to macharesh, plow or something like that, it would be also to rent it to him on Erev Shabbos. If it would be on Yom Chamishi or any time earlier in the week, would be mutter. As long as he doesn't get exclusive money for Shabbos, only he gets it he gets it mixed in with money for the weekdays. This is the fee for a month rental or a week rental, but not for one day. To lend it to him would be mutter even on Erev Shabbos. The Rama passes that the Iker is like the second Shita, not like the first Shita, which does not make a chiluk about Erev Shabbos and earlier in the week. The Rama says that the Iker is that it would be also to rent on Erev Shabbos. But it would be permitted to land on Erev Shabbos, even though he makes a t'nai that the guy will go and re-lend it to him of Lamrina B'chagavna the Havi Kaschiris. We don't say that this idea that I'm borrowing it from you, but you'll have to borrow it from me is like a rental. Also, you cannot lend a guy a kli on Shabbos. Even if it's Erev Shabbos, but it's right before Shkia, meaning in a point that there's no time for the guy to take this vessel out of the Jew's house before it's Shkia. Because it would look like the Jew told him to take this out. There's discussion in a postscript about if this would be different if there was an Eidov in the city or things like that. You cannot rent or lend an animal to a guy to do work on Shabbos. A person has a chiyuv to make sure that his animals rest on Shabbos also. You could rent an animal to a guy or lend it to him during the week with a t'nai that he has to give it back before Shabbos. It would not be sufficient, however, to rent out the animal, but make it t'nai that the guy will make sure the animal rests on Shabbos. He doesn't have the manus that that he won't actually do malacha with this animal. If he did lend it out or rent it out to a guy, and he made the t'nai, but the guy held it onto it on Shabbos and did not give it back, let the Jew declare the animal hefker privately before Shabbos, or he will say, I'm giving it to him as a kinyan, so that the Jew will be saved from having been violating this Isser D'Oraisa of having work done with his animal on Shabbos. If he wants, he can make it real hefker in front of three people. Nevertheless, no one is allowed to actually take this animal for himself. Because his kavanah is not someone else could get the animal, but his kavanah is that there shouldn't be an Isser Shabbos. There's a discussion in a post about if this is so, how exactly this works, what the gather of this hefker and reacquisitions on it. V'davka b'Shabbos is home halacha applies only on Shabbos. If b'Yom Tov, ain't on a mitzvah on Shavuos from Yom Tov. There's no chiyuv to have your animal rest on Yom Tov. It's especially because there is a kosov. It's in the Aseres Adibros. Yenuach sharcha v'chamercha uvevhemtecha, but it doesn't apply to Yom Tov. Also mentioned in other psukim, but always relating only to Shabbos. Yisrael shehizker shavarim le'eno Yehudi, a Yisrael who rents out animals to a guy lachreish bohem, to do plowing, v'cherish bohem, and the guy does plowing with them. So yesh matin kibul of hainu yudi achrayis misu gzeinu gneva v'yokravizuha. Some say this is permitted on the condition that the guy has taken responsibility if the animal dies or is stolen or robbed or increases or decreases in value, because in that case really it's like a kinyan by the guy. But some say yes, the guy has all these responsibilities, but he's not able to sell the animal, so therefore nikris behemas yisrael, it's still called an animal belonging to a yid. And we'll see later in this siman that the Ramah will bring down a number of days that seem to be noted hakel. Although the Mechaber himself is mashma here that he's not lahachmir. In Yisrael, they know Yehudi shotfin bebehema. A yid and a guy are partners in animal mutagasis, but they know Yehudi malacha b'Shabbos. A guy can do work with this animal on Shabbos angidei shiyasna im ha'ino Yehudi betchila. If the yid made a t'nai with the guy at the beginning of their partnership, kishkanu also when they bought this animal, sheyitol ha'ino Yehudi b'Shabbos v'yisol b'yom that the guy gets one day of Shabbos for the animal to work for him, and the Yisrael gets a weekday to work for him. If they did not make such a time from the beginning, also then it's forbidden. Later on, if he would, however, lend it to the guy with a complete halva, and what's the difference with a halva is that you're allowed to spend the halva. So here, in this case, the guy could sell this animal if he wanted, and the value of the money is going to be a chayiv by the guy, and the guy is responsible for them, and the value of them, and just he owes a certain amount of money to the yid. If he does sell them, mutter there be permitted. Some say it's permitted even if the guy does not have permission to sell it. If whoever he calculates the value of the animal and he makes that value a loan to the guy, and now the guy just turns around and says that this animal, this shur, is an aputiki for the Yisrael. That this animal is going to be the only source of payment for this loan. He gives it to him as a collateral, and now that, but really the animal doesn't belong to the yid. The animal is only a collateral or the means to collect the underlying debt, which is the owed to the yid. As long as he doesn't explicitly say that you have a kinyan in this from right now. And there are those who are matter even further. All you have to do is warn the guy, don't do work with us on Shabbos. We tell the guy, if you are violating this condition and you do work with it on Shabbos, then all responsibility for this animal goes to you. And therefore, even if it's an einus happens to it, it's all on the guy's responsibility if he chooses to do work on Shabbos. And he has to make this a legally binding clause in Goyish court. Therefore, legally and halachically, this animal does not belong to the yid if any malach is being done for it on Shabbos. Because the guy has complete his chayvus to deal with any einus that would happen from this animal. And all of these heterim are halachos, says the Rama. And you can do any one of these. I mean, we mentioned here 3 different approaches that among learns that they don't argue, they're all permissible. And even if the animal will be completely owned by a yid, it would still be able to have the halacha as if it was a partnership, if he goes ahead with one of these conditions. All he has to do is make sure it's published as they did it b'derech heter. There is a number of discussion here posting about which of these would be mutter lechatchila or b'diavad b'shas b'chak, what would be considered midas chasidus. Certainly, the Mishnah Berurah concludes here that a bal nefesh should not get involved in these type of things unless it's the shas b'chak, and certainly in all cases, a person needs to have a hiras chacham about how to deal with these type of partnerships.